So I am sure that you have heard about this sickening slaughter of over 100 Palestinians who are starving to death, who are watching their children starve to death in front of them, who are resorting to eating their pets, eating horses, and when they panic and run towards these food aid trucks, what does the Israeli government do? Do they understand at how these people are panicking and acting erratically because they are starving to death, and so move to mitigate this situation? No. The IDF opened fire on this crowd of starving Palestinians, killing 112 of them and injuring 700 plus Palestinians. And all because these people were hungry, they've panicked. There has not been any food allowed into Gaza for weeks. And the food that is coming in, these Palestinians know there is not enough to feed everyone. And so, of course, imagining that they may miss out and their children will die without this food, they panic, they run for these food aid trucks, and they get slaughtered in cold blood by the IDF. And so this was not only a failure of the Israeli government, who are actively starving these Palestinians to death and their children, but also of the food aid organisers who did not ensure that they were going to provide these Palestinians with this food in an orderly manner. Of course, if you have starving hordes of people in a crowd and you suddenly show up with food, they are going to run for these trucks. They are going to take the opportunity to try and get the food before somebody else does, because they know that not only their lives depend on it, but their children's lives depend on it too. And these people are being put in this situation on purpose by these evil shit stains on humanity. It's almost like a social engineering experiment that we're all watching from the comfort of our lounge rooms. They are literally putting these people in this situation just so they can watch and see how this all unfolds and how we react to it. And how do we react to it? Well, we don't really care at all, because we're too caught up in our own pathetic, shallow little lives of materialism over in the West. And so we are completely okay with what has just transpired over in Gaza. We will make excuses for our lack of concern. They shouldn't have charged the food trucks. They shouldn't have been so erratic. What did they expect? And really, can you expect them to act any different? They are starving to death. Their children are starving to death. Do you think that if you were starving to death and your children were starving to death and you've just resorted to eating your family pets to keep yourselves alive, and a food truck entered your neighborhood and you knew that there wasn't enough food on that truck to feed everybody in your neighborhood, do you think that you would act any differently to these Palestinians who are humans just like you, who are parents just like you? No, you wouldn't. And if you say you would, you're a liar. And one day the tables will turn, because what they're doing to these innocent people will happen in our own country. So you can delude yourselves all you like that it's never going to happen to us, while you sit in the comfort of your lounge room and watch this unfolding on your computer screen and happening to other people. But it will happen. They will ensure that it will happen to us. So enjoy the calm before the storm. Enjoy the delusion that you benefit from and the denial that you have the ability to indulge in because you currently live in a stable system. You currently have food in your fridge. You currently have access to water at all times and medical help should you need it and shelter. Enjoy this while you still have it, and enjoy your denial while you still have the opportunity to exist in it, because it will be only a matter of time before the tables turn and we are experiencing everything that these innocent people and their children are experiencing. So after this has occurred and the Israeli government have slaughtered over 100 Palestinians in cold blood who are hungry and panicked when they thought that perhaps they would miss out on the food that was provided by this convoy of trucks, which, as I said, they knew was not going to be enough food for everybody. And it's been weeks before food has even come into Gaza. I mean, it's been weeks since they've had access to food, guys. They've been starving. They've been eating their pets, eating horses. Israel have been bombing all of the bakeries, all of their food businesses, so that they can't access food. They are literally starving them to death on purpose. This is a genocide unfolding before our faces. Before our eyes, we are watching these people being wiped out, being basically reduced to scavengers, scratching out an existence in this city that is now just rubble, that is now just mostly rubble and tents with no water, no medical. And so what is the response to this from the shining city on the hill, the beacon of democracy? Well, this evil Antichrist shitstain, he's just going to airdrop aid because he's so weak. And this is actually how it's scripted. Okay, it's all scripted, guys. He's not going to actually call Israel into account and say, you know, if you want us to help you with any more support for your military and US taxpayers to support you with, you know, any more funding, then you need to allow food to go into Gaza. You cannot allow children to starve to death and eat horses. That's all he'd have to do. But no, this weak, spineless piece of shit decides he's just going to airdrop aid into a place that is full of people that are on the brink of starvation. And how do you think that is going to actually unfold? We are going to see the worst behavior in humans when they're starving to death and their children are starving to death in front of them. And we literally just throw them scraps of food and watch them fight for it, because that's exactly what's going to happen. They're doing this on purpose, guys. They're doing this on purpose. And don't you dare judge any of these Palestinians and their behavior when they show and report, because they won't show it because it's going to be so absolutely horrific. But they will report on it, and they will report on the behavior and how Palestinians are killing each other for food. Don't you dare judge them. Don't you dare judge them. Because you would do exactly the same if you were in this position. And so what does the other beacon of democracy do when we see this slaughter of innocent people? We see this starvation event unfolding before our eyes, this genocide. Oh, he says that anybody that goes out and protests it on the streets, well, it's mob rule. And you guys are just a bunch of extremists. okay, and that you are engaging in a pattern of increasingly violent and intimidatory behavior. And there is a growing consensus that mob rule is replacing democratic rule. Where are these fucking democracies? There's no democracy. You know what democracy is? Democracy is that every person gets a say. We don't get a fucking say. These pricks get into power with these rigged elections, and then they make decisions for us. And we don't get a say in it, because if we actually say that we don't agree with them, if we gather in large groups and say we do not agree with what they are doing in our name, they call us extremists. They call it mob rule. You know, I have to laugh at how about 8 years ago, guys, I uploaded a video warning that they were importing immigrants into Europe and they were going to destroy us from the inside. And I had a lot of people saying that I was just, you know, sensationalizing everything. I was dramatizing everything. I was a fearmonger. And I could only imagine if back then I'd said, and the mayor of London is going to be a Muslim, and the Prime Minister of Britain is going to be a Paki, a Pakistani. Okay? I would have been laughed down. People would have said, are you ridiculous? So it's just absolutely ridiculous that we are where we are now. And I was already warning about this years and years ago, but because I just don't have the reach and I just don't have a platform that gets the views because the algorithms punish me, people just don't pay attention to what I am warning about. But I suppose people who are meant to find the information will find it. One way or another, they will find it. So all I can do is continue to just upload everything until they take away my ability to do so, because all I really have now is just my voice and all of the studies that I have engaged in over the last 13 years and pieced everything together so that now I know what they are doing and why they are doing it, and that we are all their enemy and they are all in on this together. Every single one of them. There is no right and left, guys. There is no red and blue. They're all in on this together. They're acting their part in the script. And then they're making us bicker and fight amongst each other by seeding these ideas that we are different and that we are each other's enemies based on race, based on religion, based on gender, based on anything that they can find to cause us to be in conflict with each other. And so while we are bickering with each other, they are enacting this absolute evil upon these innocent people over in Palestine. And anyone who speaks out against it is now called a extremist, and it's mob rule. It's over, guys. It really is over for us, okay? It's over for you guys over in the UK. Put a fork in it. It's over for you guys over in the US. It's only going to get darker and more insane. Put a fork in it. And it's over for us here over in Australia and New Zealand and Canada. It's over for us, guys. We are done. Put a fork in it. It is only going to get even darker and even more chaotic. So, guys, what do we have? We have our voices. Use your voice. Speak out against these evil shit stains. Speak out against what they are doing to these innocent people. Speak out against what they are doing to these innocent children. Because that is all we have, our voice, until they take that away too. And that is only a matter of time. Well, I will post everything underneath the video, guys. And as always, peace out.